Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're putting Max Healthcare's massive FY26 earnings report right on the examination table to check its vital signs. We're looking at a company that isn't just operating hospitals anymore, they are fundamentally reshaping their entire footprint across the country.
I know. At first glance, a 20-plus page regulatory filing can look exactly like a chaotic, totally confusing EKG reading. You've got these crazy spikes, random dips, dense tables of numbers, and legal jargon that honestly seems designed to confuse rather than clarify. But stick with me, because we're going to translate all these flat lines and spikes into a clear, compelling story about growth, strategy, and corporate health. We're taking the complex and making it crystal clear.
So here's our agenda for today. We'll start with the financial checkup, move on to the FY26 vital signs, look at expanding the footprint, break down mergers and exceptional items, and wrap up with shareholder returns.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the financial checker.
Now, what you're seeing here is the actual audited foundation of our entire analysis. This is the independent auditor's report, certified by S.R. Batlaboy & Co., LLP. In the corporate world, this document right here is the ultimate baseline. Because, before we can celebrate record profits or analyze massive expansions, we absolutely need an independent expert to verify that the numbers are real, accurate, and completely transparent.
And this quote brilliantly illustrates exactly what we want to see. The auditor stated that the financials give a true and fair view in conformity with the applicable accounting standards. Basically, Max Healthcare got a clean bill of health from their auditors, what they call an unmodified opinion. That means there are no red flags hidden in the math, and we can confidently trust the financial vitals we're about to review.
Moving right along to Section 2, FY26 vital signs.
Okay, when you're faced with a super dense table from a filing like this, it is so easy to just get totally lost in the rows and columns. I mean, you've got everything from the cost of drugs and consumables to employee benefits to depreciation. It's a lot to process. So instead of getting bogged down in every single line item, we're going to extract the two absolute most critical data points for you just to show exactly how the year played out.
So, the first crucial point is this massive leap in total income. Take a look at this comparison. Their revenue didn't just grow, it absolutely surged. We're talking a climb from roughly 7.18 lakh lakhs back in FY25 to over 8.53 lakh lakhs in FY26. That is a massive, undeniable upward trajectory in their top-line health. It essentially shows that their core business of medical and healthcare services is generating significantly more capital than it did the previous year.
And all of that top-line revenue, well, it translated into a highly healthy final profit after tax of over 1,44,000 lakhs. To put that in perspective, that's up significantly from the 1,07,000 mark we saw the previous year. This tells us the company isn't just making more money, they're actually keeping more of it. Their operational efficiency is successfully converting increased patient footfall and services into concrete bottom-line profit.
Which brings us to Section 3, expanding the footprint. Because numbers don't just magically grow on spreadsheets, right? First up, the board officially approved Phase 1 construction of a massive new facility, the Max Super Specialty Hospital located at Shahid Path in Lucknow. Now, this isn't just some small neighborhood clinic. They're utilizing a 5-acre land parcel they own to build a facility that will accommodate approximately 712 census beds. This is a monumental infrastructure project, clearly designed to permanently cement their market dominance in Uttar Pradesh.
So, let's see how this fits into their broader strategy, because they are utilizing a really effective hybrid growth model here. On one hand, as we just saw, they're doing an organic build, creating a massive 712-bed hospital from the ground up in Lucknow. But on the other hand, you see a totally different tactic, strategic acquisition. In April 2026, they executed a share purchase agreement for a controlling 58.28% stake in Kalinga Hospitals Limited over in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. That move gives them immediate control of a functioning NABH-accredited 250-bed multi-specialty hospital, instantly allowing them to enter and strengthen their footprint in the Eastern India market. Now, that strategic jump into Odisha was a major investment. It cost an aggregate cash consideration of nearly 29,800 lakhs. And how did they pay for it? Well, the filings showed they secured external commercial borrowings to finance the acquisition. This shows us a company that's more than willing to strategically leverage debt to accelerate their geographic expansion, rather than just waiting around to build everything from scratch.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, mergers and exceptional items. When you're reading through a financial statement, you'll often stumble across a line item for exceptional items.
Now, it's super important to understand that this isn't necessarily a symptom of a bad business or a failing strategy. Really, these are just one-time, unusual, or infrequent expenses. For FY26, Max Healthcare recorded a hit of over 4,800 lakhs under this category. This adjustment simply reflects regulatory realities, specifically responding to India's new government labor codes and the stamp duties associated with some internal corporate mergers.
This breakdown paints a pretty clear picture of that one-time expense. The lion's share, we're talking nearly 3,400 lakhs, went to adapting to the new labor codes. The government consolidated 29 existing labor laws, which actually changed the legal definition of wages. This meant Max had to make non-recurring financial adjustments for things like employee gratuity and long-term compensated absences. The remaining slice, about 1,434 lakhs, was set aside as a provision for stamp duty on a major internal corporate merger.
Speaking of corporate housekeeping, here's how Max streamlined its subsidiaries. Back in November 2025, the National Company Law Tribunal officially approved the amalgamation scheme between Crossley Remedies Limited and JP Healthcare Limited. By mid-December, the merger was completely effective, uniting these entities under common control. And by January 2026, the newly merged entity was officially renamed Crossley Remedies Limited. But you know what's incredible about this administrative surgery? The financial outcome. This restructuring actually resulted in a massive cumulative tax benefit of over 14,000 lakhs for the year. It is just a perfect example of how smart corporate housekeeping directly benefits the bottom line. Finally, let's look at Section 5, Shareholder Returns.
So, what's the prescription for you, the investor? The board of directors, clearly confident in the fiscal health we've just reviewed, has recommended a final dividend of 2 rupees per equity share out of the profits for FY26. Since the face value of the shares is 10 rupees each, this represents a really solid 20% dividend. Now, this payout is subject to shareholder approval at the upcoming annual general meeting, but once it's approved, that cash will be dispatched within 30 days. It's a very direct reward for the investors backing this aggressive growth.
The board also handled some other critical administrative prescriptions during their May meeting. They approved shifting their official registered headquarters out of Mumbai, relocating it to Max Hospital in Gurugram, Haryana. They also reappointed Chandra Wadhwan Co. to ensure their cost records stay perfectly audited for the next year. On top of that, they approved the reappointment of their 75-year-old non-executive, non-independent director, Mr. Anu Kumar Bhatnagar, for another 3 years. And finally, they approved a request to reclassify the Radiant Lifecar Hospital Foundation from the promoter group into the public category, pending stock exchange approvals.
And as we wrap up our analysis, this brings us full circle. All of these incredible growth numbers, the new hospitals, the strategic acquisitions, the dividends, they're all neatly tied up, verified, and officially signed off by the auditing partners in Mumbai, complete with a unique document identification number. It honestly makes this entire filing one of the most transparent, aggressive, and frankly, fascinating growth quarters we have analyzed on this explainer.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to consider. We've seen their organic mega builds in Lucknow and their strategic, debt-financed takeovers in eastern India. So, given these aggressive expansions and those soaring audited profits, is Max Healthcare's growth spurt just beginning its upward climb, or are they rapidly approaching their peak operational capacity? It is a vital question for anyone tracking the future of the healthcare sector. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the numbers.